Interesting, and that's why I want to bring in our tech guy, Kelly Boss. Kelly, you're the expert when it comes to EVs here in there, on our desk. Yeah. Briefly, talk to me. When fuel are at that particular level, of course, people are considering alternatives. Right. Talk to me. What are the low-lying fruits that such cab drivers can take advantage of?
I mean, it's a balance and it's a bittersweet experience, especially if you think about for cars, when it all started maybe 120 years ago, it started with an electric car, but it was that electricity was expensive, that gasoline was way cheaper, so let's go the gasoline way, and you could industrialize very easily with gasoline. Right now, the prices of electricity is cheaper than petrol, but if we take up more electric cars, definitely that will be another avenue to maybe tax us or make it more expensive. Okay. So it's not that shifting to electric cars would make any difference right now, because if you take an example, for example, the entry-level Ubers come in a Fit, Demio, or maybe a Note. Yes. Yeah, a Note would go for around 1.3 million. If you take the Note version of an electric car, that would be there is one that is a Note version that would be around 3.5 million or 4 million. So by the time you really enjoy using electricity instead of gasoline, it's not so much there. Okay. But there's this particular type of person who maybe does deliveries, has a store somewhere, and has small vans. Then those type of vans maybe, and you have scaled already and do much more, might be, might break even sooner than a person who is dealing with 1 car or 3 cars.
Definitely. So, yeah. And briefly touch on the regulations that have been released, or guidance as they call them, for EV and battery swapping. Right. I mean, I'm foreseeing a lot of people going towards that direction, but cost has always been an impediment, but we are seeing regulations being put in place. Talk to me, what are some of the highlights of those regulations, and what are the impediments to uptake them? Right,
so we need regulations, but before we get regulations, because it takes time because you have to understand the market, now we have guidelines. That's what EPRA released yesterday. And for this particular guideline, it really takes us a step ahead in terms of, taking up e-mobility. Okay. The reason why is because now they have good guidelines on what infrastructure we need, the quality of infrastructure we need, and this would now welcome charging infrastructure investors in Kenya. Okay. And then when we have charging infrastructure, then an Uber driver can consider maybe a used car that is not 4 million, maybe it might be slightly cheaper, because he's sure he can charge, on our roads. And then something else from the guidelines is where to place your charging station and the quality of charging station. Outside there, if you look at the Teslas and the other brands, Tesla just charges Teslas. So what EPRA is saying is they want a general charging station, so that we do not have this, it's good to have an exclusive charging station, but for now we just want more charging stations. Right. So there's something about quality, which is good.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kelly Boss.
Thank you
for your input, and also my wonderful guest from the taxi business.